Hello, everybody. Guess what time it is? It is 2 o'clock, and we are coming to you from a beautiful, beautiful Colorado. You can come take over.
Okay. I was looking for a joke.
Hi, Miss Vonnie.
I guess we just will do a joke.
And Paula's going to come take the phone away. We've been a little busy here this morning.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Yay.
So welcome. It is Rocky Mountain Sampler Day.
Yeah.
Paula is doing block 4. Which one is block 4?
Block 4 is the one right
This one?
there. Yep.
No way.
Yeah.
I was right.
You were.
I like that one.
I do too.
It's like a variation of a pinwheel.
Kind of,
almost. Yeah.
Like a windmilly.
Yeah. I did pinwheels yesterday.
Oh,
So
well,
that
there you go.
it's a pinwheel week.
Kind of weak.
Yeah.
That works.
Well, welcome everybody. We have had a lot of brown boxes arriving today.
Holy moly.
I mean, a lot. Like
we're all sweaty a lot.
Yeah. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
The FedEx and UPS both have brought us many, 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 many boxes today. So we have been busy. Matt and Amanda did do Viking Club this morning. So if you were with them, I'm glad you joined them. And if you were not able to join them live, but you are part of our Viking Club, they will be emailing out the link to you sometime this afternoon so that you'll be able to watch their presentation later. Let's see. What else is going on? We have on Friday morning, I have my payday class. So that is a Zoom class. It is the By Annie Payday Wallet. We will be busy stitching on that.
That'll be fun. Is that an all day? What are the hours?
Well,
10 to 1-ish?
it's actually, no, I'm starting at 9.
Oh, okay.
Because I knew that 10 to 12 wasn't going to do it. I'm not sure 9 to 12 is going to do it. It's probably going to be 9 to 5. No, I'm just joking. Just joking. It's not going to be that bad.
Bring snacks. Put some snacks and a water bottle next to your machine.
I would be surprised if we get it done under 3 hours, put it that way.
Okay.
So I told Matt and Amanda to expect me when I show up because I may be late in because I am going to teach that from my home.
Okay.
But anyway, if you're not able to join me live, then the recording will go out on that one. When you get the invite tomorrow, you will see a couple of extra supplies that I'm going to have them put onto the invite that would be helpful. Okay? So I am going to add a couple of supplies to that. Like a safety pin.
Oh.
Okay. Everybody has a safety pin. So a safety pin is the bare minimum. If you have a bodkin or if you have a tube turner, both of those would be great and very helpful.
Okay.
But you can do everything with a safety pin. But you will need a safety pin.
A big one?
A big one.
Okay.
A big safety pin.
Okay.
That's Friday. And then Monday, I've just like bang, bang, bang with all my classes here.
You did.
Monday, I'm going to be doing the Serger project, which is the Flying Geese Decorative Table Runner.
Okay.
So that is going to be Monday, and that one I do believe is 10 to 12.
Okay.
Okay?
Cool.
And we do have a giveaway today.
Okay.
Are we in the Christmas mood?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Isn't it cute?
It's super cute.
Yeah.
A little, kind of a big little cookie mat, mug rug.
This would be the perfect thing to put your plate of cookies on
Yeah.
for Santa.
Yeah.
So this is going to go to Lenny Herman.
Okay. Yay,
So,
Lenny.
Lenny, we will put this in your next package for you.
Patrick could call that a trivet.
A trivet. He would call it a trivet, but he's not here, so he doesn't get
a say.
To make his statement. Okay. Let's go ahead and we'll get started.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right. So, should I go? I'll just stand here. So, like Kate said, we're going to do block 4 today, and actually, it's a pretty fun, quick block. There's not a whole bunch of pieces to it, and so it's going to be really fun. So let's go do it.
Okay.
And we have several manager specials and stuff too.
We do have some manager specials. We also very quickly unboxed like 3 big boxes of fabric this morning from a whole new line from Moda that we are going to show to you too.
And the line is called A Bloom.
A Bloom.
A Bloom. And it's very uncharacteristic of you to buy like 20 bolts
I don't know
of
why
one line.
I know. I don't know what I was
That's why I was
thinking.
trying to figure out if you had like something in mind.
I need to go back through my photos because I'm thinking that I had something in mind for
some
it.
kind of a
Quilt.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like not a block of the month, but a quilt with several blocks in it or something, because it's probably pretty darn cute.
Yep. There was a reason.
There was a reason.
Yeah, but if I remember what it was, I mean, I probably ordered it like 10 months ago.
Yeah. So that's okay.
I don't remember what I had for breakfast, let alone
know,
what
right?
happened 10 months ago.
Right. Okay. So should we show them the block one more time? You want to just spin around?
Absolutely. Yep. Hey, Matt, say hi.
Hi.
We're spinning around and we just happened to run into you at the same time.
This is the block we're going to do.
Okay.
And again, remember that this is the block. And then when you have all your blocks made and you put them together, that creates this cool secondary design.
Okay.
Okay? We do still have kits available. We have backing kits available. This is the backing. I'll spin back.
Isn't
This
it pretty?
is the backing. So we have backing kits available, and we still have a couple of kits available that have this pretty border and stuff.
Okay.
Okay?
But we're almost out, right?
We're almost out, yep. Okay. So let's go over the cutting just for a minute.
Okay.
So by now, if you've been following along, you know that every block has some background fabric and then 4 different colors of fat 16ths.
Okay.
So from the background fabric, we're going to cut our 3.5 by 6.5 inch rectangles. That's what makes these flying geese units that go all around the outside.
Mm-hmm.
We have one 4.25 inch square cut twice diagonally. That is going to create all these little pieces that are going to be making these little flying geese in the center.
Okay.
And then we have 4 2 3/8 inch squares that we're going to cut once diagonally, and that's what's going to create, that's what's going to create these little, these other little triangles in here.
Okay.
Okay? Then from the fat 16ths, from all 4 fat 16ths, you're going to cut this. So from all 4.
And that's the 4 different colors.
That's the 4 different colors. I used in mine.
I love this pink fabric, by the way.
I do too.
Yeah, it's really super pretty.
For my block 4, I used this pink, this black, this green, and this gold.
Okay.
So it's just a nice assortment of colors, okay? So from every fat 16th, you're going to cut 2 3.5 inch squares. That's what's going to create these outside units in your flying geese.
Okay.
Okay? You're going to cut 1 3 7/8 inch square. You're going to cut it once diagonally to give you 2 triangles, and that's what you're going to use in the corners of your block.
Okay.
1 2 3/8 inch square, cut once diagonally, and you're going to use both triangles of
Okay.
each one, and that is what is going to help create these pieces in here. And then you're going to cut 1 4.25 inch square, cut twice diagonally, and you're only going to use 1 triangle from each color.
Okay.
And that is going to be this triangle here. So you're going to end up with extra little triangles. Yeah. But that's just the way we had to cut them for bias and to, because you have to use all 4 colors and stuff. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So like we have done the last 3 months, the first thing we're going to do is make these flying geese that go around the outside. Then we're going to make these corner units. Then we're going to make the units that go on the inside.
Okay.
Okay? So, just like last time, we have to lay everything out first because we want to be able to spread out all of our colors. So that's the first thing, and that's sometimes the most time-consuming thing. So we're going to go ahead and lay these out. I went ahead and drew a diagonal line on the back side of all of the squares.
The colored squares.
The colored squares.
Okay.
I do have a laser on my machine, but these are larger squares, so sometimes it helps to draw the line. It's up to you. So these are going to be the flying geese that go around the outside. And we're just gonna lay these out. Start laying these out till we're happy with the colors. And this is like where you can lay colors and rearrange till the cows come home.
So I was actually just going to see if you were going to do pink, black, and yellow, green.
No, I did not.
Okay.
I try not to. But then now we have to come in here with these big triangles and we have to put them in the corners. Then I try to make it. I don't always succeed, and I didn't in my other quilt too, but when you put them all together and all the colors all mishmashed together, you're not going to be able to tell. But I try to have like these 4 corners. I try to have all 4 different fabrics.
Okay.
But I didn't always accomplish that on my other quilt, and you can't tell.
You did it.
How does that look?
Yep.
Does that
looks
look okay?
good. Mm-hmm.
Sit back and squint. Does it look okay?
Yep.
Okay.
I think it looks good.
Okay. So let's start sewing these together. Turn on my iron. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of do like only 2 flying geese at a time so I can keep track of where I was, because otherwise I'll forget.
Okay.
And I'm going to put them right sides together, the square on top of the background rectangle. And I always start on the straight edge corner rather than on the corner, because sometimes that can get caught up under your needle and stuff. The straight edge is kind of safer to start with for me.
Okay.
And I have my needle in needle center position right now, because I'm going to sew straight down this drawn line. And I'm going to grab this one. Remember, black was up here. Help me remember.
Paula's expecting us to remember to tell her what to do. Do you have a pen over there? Oh, you are wonderful. Thank you.
And I'm just going to cut off my 1/4 inch seam. I'm going to press them, and I'm going to press towards the black and the gold. The black went up here. Gold went over here. So now I'm going to sew the pink onto the black. So right sides together. Again, I'm going to start on the straight edge and go towards the corner.
Okay.
And green with the gold.
Oh, Laura, how exciting. Laura John's just got a brand new granddaughter born 2 hours ago.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, I hope you're busy sewing her a quilt.
That's exciting.
That's
Where is
really
she at?
exciting. Is she local, Laura? These kids that think they can take grandkids away is just disgusting. Because I really don't have too much room to talk there, do I? I took my grandchildren, my parents' grandchildren out of the country.
Out of the country, yeah. But nowadays with FaceTime, and
It wasn't like that 30 years ago.
It
I couldn't
wasn't.
even afford a phone call. I had to write.
wow.
But you know, the nice thing about that is I have all of those letters that and you wouldn't get that.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
So I actually have all of the letters between my mom and myself and my grandmother and myself.
Oh, that's a treasure. Wow. My grandkids live 1.5 miles away from me, and I still like to FaceTime with them because they just act so goofy and silly and stuff. It's just really fun to kind of chat with them real quick.
Did I tell you that my granddaughter decided she FaceTimed me? and it said FaceTime, and it had like another number on there, and I didn't recognize it. And she FaceTimed and put me onto a group FaceTime with my ex-husband and his new wife.
Oh no! Did she kind of realize that she had done that?
I don't know, was she? I mean, I think she knows that I used to be married to her papa. Yeah. But yeah, it was an interesting.
Wow.
And we were on the phone for about an hour, so it was pretty interesting.
Wow. A surprise.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Actually. Not really, but kind of. Okay, so this one was down here, right? Because we have the 4 colors. And this one was up here, so we're going to go ahead and grab this.
And then it was really interesting when her parents asked her to go do something, and she left me on the phone with my ex for like 20 minutes talking. Barbara, I'm actually going to be at the space station next week. I'm going to be down there. Barbara is going to watch a rocket launch.
Oh, fun.
There is no launch when we're down there next week. But
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
That's something I'd like to do someday.
We actually were scheduled to do that last October, and that big hurricane came through.
I remember.
Yeah, my brother was coming off a cruise ship down there, and we were meeting up, and there was a rocket launch scheduled for last October, and it all got cancelled, obviously.
Okay. Got this part down pat, I think. Okay. All right. Now we're going to sew these corner triangles together. Right sides together, 1/4 inch seam, same old, same old.
Barbara, we have an Airbnb down there. We're just staying down there a couple of nights before we get on a cruise ship, actually.
But don't forget to change your seam allowance.
Oh,
Q2
to
will
give
move
you
my
a
needle
1/4
over
of an inch.
with my J foot. Don't forget to change that over, or you'll be picking them out.
So Paula has got all 4 of the flying geese, and now she is sewing these corner units together. Okay, let's do a manager special. I do have a couple of different manager specials. So this was just an end of bolt. It is a batik fabric. It's 2/3 of a yard. It's $6.99 a yard. So let's do the math there. So 2/3 of that, it's going to be right around $5. So $5 for 2/3 of this really pretty red batik. We're going on a cruise till April 28th. How fun, Patty. Where are you going? Where are you cruising?
Oh, look what I did. I didn't even realize what I did. I did 2 green and blacks and 2 pinks and yellows.
Oh, I just asked.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that.
I hadn't even realized that either. So the fabric is going to go to Ernie Hicks. Sorry, Ernie was the first one that said she would take it. I do have another fabric here we're going to do here in just a second.
I'm going to go ahead and cut off these little points.
Oh, you should do the little noise that Patrick
Yeah,
would
no.
make.
We'll just think of Patrick with love.
Wow, you must be really close to where we're going to be staying then. Ooh, Aruba is on my bucket list, Patty. I have never been to Aruba.
Where's Aruba?
It's down in the Caribbean.
Oh, okay. Okay, so let's see. There's that. There's in this corner.
Sure. It is room filled and it's 303.
And then let's put the yellow in that corner, and let's put the black on the inside corner. Okay. So we're like halfway done. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is make these center
Pinwheels.
pinwheels.
they called a
Windmilly.
pinwheel?
Pinwheely, willy millies. I don't know, I called them units.
Units.
But this is, I made one. I pre-made one. And it's made doing a flying geese with the white center and pink backgrounds, and then pink center and white backgrounds. And we've pre-cut our little triangles and everything, so we are good to go.
Okay. Patrick is down in Mexico. His son is getting married tomorrow and has a destination wedding down there.
Okay, so we made our pink one. We're going to make a black one and a green one and a gold one.
Okay.
So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the smaller, see we've got bigger triangles and smaller triangles.
Okay.
We're going to use our bigger background triangles and our smaller colored triangles to make the first flying geese. So when you have your triangles, when you've, instead of using like the regular rectangle and the squares like we just did, this is just another way to do flying geese. We've pre-cut the triangles. So you're going to sew a small triangle to each side of the big triangle.
Okay.
So when you put right sides together, you want to line up the bottom edge and the diagonal edge. You want this corner to be all lined up. This is going to overlap. The top is going to overlap by this much, and that's going to be your 1/4 inch seam. So that's perfect.
It will work out in the end,
Yep.
right?
So I'm going to start up here, and I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch seam down to this corner, and I'm going to do all 3 triangles, and then I'm going to press it open, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do the other side, all 3 triangles.
Okay, so let's do the other piece of fabric we have. This is super pretty, and my pen just fell to the floor. Look at this one. This one is a regular fabric, but it's got this deep emerald and royal blue with a black background. It is a 1 yard cut for $6.99.
I'm going to get it.
And Laura Johns is going to be the winner of that. Laura, you're already a winner today. You got a new grandbaby. Sorry, Laura is the winner on that one. This is probably the part that's going to take you the longest, right? Putting those little colors on each of the triangles.
A little bit, not too long.
I was thinking about going and showing them the new fabric line.
Yeah, let me just show them what I'm going to do next.
Okay.
See, so I've sewed these triangles on, and so now I have this little tail over here, and then I have, this is what we had up here that overlapped. When you press it open, there's your next piece is going to come here, and it's going to give you your 1/4 inch seam allowance. So the next one we're going to do, same thing. You line up the bottom edge and the diagonal edge, and then you're going to sew your 1/4 inch seam so that when you open it up, that's going to give you your 1/4 inch seam right there, and then we will trim these off.
Perfect. So
Okay.
you'll trim the dog ears across the top and
And
then
on
the
the
two
sides.
on the sides.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I am going to take you over to a brand new line of fabric. I'm going to put this in front of the camera. This literally just came in this morning. It will be sent down to our Littleton store tomorrow. It's going down tomorrow. But this is a new line of fabric. It's called A Bloom. It is a new line from Moda. And we don't have this up online because we have not had time to get it up online. So if anybody is wanting any of this fabric, you can just leave a comment and we will go back and watch. Now I will tell you, we are doing a fat 1/4 bundle. This would be a total of 5 yards. So if anybody is wanting a fat 1/4 bundle, you can just comment bundle, and the bundle price will be $59.99. That is based at the $11.99 a yard price. So let's take a closer look. So number one is this really pretty white background. You see the little birds on it? Isn't that cute? I didn't realize till I had been cutting the fabric for a little while that it actually had birds on it. Number 2 is this really larger print. This would work great for a stack and whack quilt too. Or if you're just wanting a larger print. Number 3 is the same print but in the mint background. Number 4 is the same again but in the white background. Super pretty. Number 5 is the same as the first one we looked at, the little floral print with the little birds on it. 6 is a tone on tone. It's just kind of got like an outline flower on it. 7 is this brown taupe one again with a little blue bird on it this time. 8 is like a little birdhouse with flowers. 9 is the little birdhouse again. 10 is this really petite little print. Look how delicate that is. And 11 is this super cute X and dot type print with the green. 12 is that tone on tone print. See how pretty that is. 13 is that little tiny delicate print. Look at this plaid. This plaid is really pretty. 14 is the plaid. 15 is the little house print again. And 16 is the house print in the brown color. 18 is the peach on peach with the little peach birds. 18, that was 17, I'm sorry. 18 is that large print. Whoops, I just dropped the piece of paper. 19 is this cream color one with the dots and X's on it in the peach and green. And then 20 is another plaid right here. And we're gonna go right around to Paula, who has come up ready to do her squaring up.
Yep. So you can either just take and trim these off, but sometimes with little flying geese, especially when they have to fit together with something, it's really good to trim them to make sure they're exactly the right size. So these need to be 2 by 3.5.
Okay.
So we have the little 3.5 inch ruler, which is lovely because all you need to do
is center it,
lay it on there. I'm lining up the 2 inch line here, making sure I've got a nice 1/4 inch up here. If I didn't, I would adjust the ruler, you know, up or down to make sure that I have my 1/4 inch.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to take and I'm just going to trim it so that it's perfectly 2 by 3.5.
Okay.
So then when you sew them together, you're going to end up with a 3.5 inch square. And really, you shouldn't reach over yourself to cut.
Not when you've got a rotating mat.
Not when you've got a rotating mat. Do as I say, don't do as I do.
Mm-hmm.
Rotating mat makes it much easier, much safer. But it really, for kind of this size of flying geese, it really, you'll do yourself a lot of favors by trimming them exactly the size you need them to be before you start sewing them together again.
Wanda would like to know if you'd like to go over and help her sew 720 flying geese units.
Oh, dear goodness me. Why are you doing this?
It's a new quilt.
No. God bless, man, Miss Wanda.
Wow.
Wow, that's when you put on a good movie and you do it in chunks. At least I would have to.
720. That's a lot.
That's a lot. Because that's double that number as your wings here, or your sky, or whatever, however you want to call it.
That
That's a
means
lot
there's
of
over
pieces.
2,100 pieces of fabric just for the flying geese.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure there has to be. You need to post something on that for us,
Yes,
Wanda,
please
so
do.
we can see that pattern.
I had a friend when I lived in Washington that would count all the pieces in her blocks. And she'd say, this block had 57 pieces in it. This block had 80. Because they were 12-inch blocks and they had lots of little pieces. So I'm like, why are you counting? Don't do that to yourself. Just do it, but don't count. That's just painful. Okay, now we're going to go sew these together.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to make it look like an arrow, kind of.
Okay.
So put that one together like that. This one together like this. And this one together like this. So now that you've gone and you've trimmed them and they're all exactly 2 by 3.5 inches, when you go sew these together, it's going to be so much easier than maybe having a weird jig-jaggy edge or something. Cool. So much easier. And when I sew these together, I'm going to make sure I've got them laying down. I'm going to sew it from this side so that I can watch my seam and as close as I can get it to where these seams cross each other so that I get a nice point on that flying geese.
Hey, Matt.
She was going to give you $1 million.
I was going to give you
up.
$1 million and he just said no thank you. Could I get you or Amanda to come over and do a manager special, please?
He goes and gets Amanda. Okay.
Do you mean this one or do you mean that one there or this one? Which one are we talking about?
These guys have eagle eyes.
They do have eagle eyes. Are you ready?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay.
So no.
I want you to go grab that tuto.
Oh, okay.
Matt's going to show us a manager special. We've been cleaning the back room. This is brand new. It's not previously loved or owned. In fact, we just took the plastic off it. This is an embroidery unit case that will fit a lot of fish. It probably wouldn't fit like an Epic 3 or a
It
Radiance.
won't fit a Viking because they're longer and general,
Yeah.
but most baby locks like Vesta, a Ventura, those kind of machines, I think would fit just fine.
Do you know what the retail price on this one was?
I can pull it up, but I
I
don't
think
know
it's
off the
like
top of my head.
$179, something like that.
Yep.
And
Has padding on the inside, a little shoulder strap for it.
we actually got double shipped on it. So we are selling this for just $50. Any takers on this? It's got a nice pocket on the front there.
That's a good deal.
It is a really good deal.
And then you can buy the trolley piece that goes with it.
So you could also use this for storage of fat quarters because it's like the perfect. So if you own a lot of fat quarters, you could definitely use that for the fat quarters.
Nice bag though.
It is a nice bag.
Do you have any other things you wanted me to get?
Nope, that's it. Okay, we're going back to Paula. Bye, Matt.
Bye. Let me know if you have your name on it.
Okay.
Okay, so I've sewn these together. Then when I pressed them, I pressed up towards the top flying geese. That's just kind of how naturally the whole thing wanted to fold. So I went ahead and pressed it. So now these squares should be 3.5 inches. So now you just need to arrange them within your other pieces to kind of go with the colors.
And that is going to be sold for Patty Whitefield. Patty Whitefield. We will take that down to
Okay.
Patty. We'll take that down to Littleton for you. Oh, she said cancel sold. Never mind. That is not sold for Patty.
It is available again.
Okay, so now we're just going to sew these two together and these two together.
I like this block.
I do too. They're
Yeah.
pretty fun. It's pretty fun
Yeah.
to make. Pretty low intensity. You know, you just kind of goes together pretty easily. So these two together, and then I'm going to press and I'm going to sew that together. Then I'm going to add the sides. That's going to create the middle row.
Okay.
And then we'll sew the top row and the bottom row.
Okay. Hey, Matt. That is now going to be sold to Mona Ficken. So we'll still send it to Littleton for you, Mona, and they will let you know when it's there. Yay, Mona.
And it's
It
purple.
was fun
No, it's
having
green. Teal.
it was fun having you in class last week, Mona. I hope you enjoyed. The price was $50. So last week here at the Fortin store, we did do a hands-on Vanina serger event. It was what they call the block party, which was learning to use your serger for quilting. And this is going to be a program that in May, we are going to be offering it virtually. And I will teach it on any machine. So if you have a baby lock, there is a variation that you'll have to do on one of the items. You will have to either have a special accessory or you would have to manually cut and not use the serger to cut. But I will teach it both ways. So that is something that is coming up in May for all serger owners. Debbie K is watching, and she loves trim flying geese. Hopefully you got your flying geese to look good, Miss Debbie.
Okay, there's our center.
I love it.
I think I had it like this, right? It doesn't really matter. Okay, so now we're gonna sew these.
The wings. You're gonna sew the wings on.
Ends of the row together. When I made my blocks, about 3 of the blocks of my original quilt, I sewed these on the other way. And so then when I was laying out the blocks to do the quilt, and I was like, why is this looking so weird?
Because it didn't fall into the other part. Yeah.
Right, yeah. But normally, like when you're making star blocks, normally you're making it so those are the points, you know? So sewing it like this, I just, in my brain when I wasn't paying attention, do we like that?
Yeah.
Does that look okay?
Uh-huh.
Okay. When we sew all the blocks together, they all blend together and you can't really tell the difference. But yeah, but as I was sewing them together, I was like, this looks really weird. What is going on? Till I figured out what I had done.
Glad you enjoyed class last week, Mona. It was fun. I think everybody had fun.
It was a fun class.
It was, you'd think on a serger that it would be stressful, but it really wasn't.
It wasn't.
No.
Everybody followed along and yeah. Okay. Now we're going to sew the top row. We're almost there. The other thing that I did when I sewed my original, I made a lot of mistakes because I got in a hurry, you know, didn't pay attention, is I sometimes sewed these like this, which is, you don't really notice at all. And I even got some rows sewed together and went, that's looking a little weird. So then I had to go through block by block and check all my corners.
You want to
make sure that you got this diagonal action going on, because it's really easy to take and turn it, and it doesn't look weird by itself. But when you go sew the blocks together, it gets a little...
I don't know. Matt's on the phone, so I can't ask him. But it was me that was in the back room this morning cleaning out and found that. But we can ask him if we have any more. I know we don't have any more of that one, but we might have some more cases.
Of some sort.
Mm-hmm. They're saying they've got dibs on the next one.
Okay.
Love it.
got my 3 rows. So now I'm just gonna press the top and the bottom row, probably with the seams going in. And then these with the seams going out, since there's a few more seams along here, they kind of naturally want to lay that way. So I'm gonna go in and out.
Okay. So the blue and yellow vein. So I was just talking to Paula about this. This was actually a serger project that never got completed. So it is, it was a table runner, and it actually has 3D flying geese. So these are all flying geese, but they're actually 3D flying geese. And I was just discussing with Paula what a fun tote bag this would make. So bear with me, watch. So if we created this into a tote bag, so this would be the top of the bag, this would be the bottom. We would do the squaring at the bottom here to create some depth. So it would kind of look just like this. Wouldn't that be fun? This is a manager special. If anybody wants this, it's just $15. $15.
Okay, now we're just gonna sew these rows together, and then we are done with block 4.
Perfect.
Oops, sorry, press that. Got a little jig in my seam. Press it. Doesn't matter which way you press these last couple seams.
Okay, so if you want to learn how to wash your machine, it's $25 a month. But we do have basic sewing classes. It's a basic sewing club, and we usually the first weekend and that is $35 for that, and that includes the kit.
Voila!
I love it, Paula.
It's a fun block.
Yeah, I really do
It's fun.
like it.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's, like I said, it's super helpful if you square up these little flying geese before you sew them together, because when you do that, this whole center section goes together so nicely,
Huh.
and you won't have weird points or because you've straightened it up before you've sewn them together.
Looks
so that's super
great.
helpful.
Well, thank you for joining us, everybody.
Thank you.
We appreciate you spending your time with us,
Yeah.
and we will see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.